A corner lot in North Omaha is now filled with bright colors, a lot of life, and skateboarding.
And it looks like a lot of fun. 6 News' Marla Lundak shows us what it's all about.
What this is a group of people creating community amenities as an interim solution to blight in North Omaha.
What was once a vacant property on the corner of Florence Boulevard and Pratt Street.
We've had so many community members drive by and say, hey, good job, great job, we love this.
Is now a skate park and community garden.
At about 12 years old, I experienced the joy that a physical space could bring a person. And then I decided that I wanted to also provide that joy to other people.
Jewel Rogers owns the plot of land. She wanted to create a welcoming space for community members and kids.
I would think better yet, what I'm trying to do is become an example of a landowner who provides community benefit while they are holding land.
She partnered with Blake Harris with Skatefest Omaha to help the vision become reality. He says spaces like these are a necessity.
There's a lot of kids who aren't interested in school or sports, and they need something to dedicate themselves to keep them off the streets and keep their life going in a good direction.
Both Harris and Rogers say this space can do just that. And for Harris, the project became a full circle moment.
This plot of land actually used to be my grandparents' house. So my family was founded on this land.
On your side in North Omaha. Marla Lundak, 6 News.